right, folks, so let's take a look at the different types of fishing reels that are available out there. First, spincast, the old Zebco 202. For those of us who grew up fishing, this was a staple. This was the reel that you bought your kids. It's great for learning. Absolutely love it. Next is a spinning reel. A little more advanced, and I love a spinning reel. This is what I fished with up till just a few years ago, because it's very versatile. You can use light line, heavy line. It just works really well all around. Low profile bait casting reel. Okay, this is what you see most bass fishermen using. A lot of pros to this reel. It's quick, it's fast, you can make a lot of casts. You can put large line, it reels in big fish. Great reel. This is a round bait casting reel, or what some people refer to as a trolling reel. The advantage to this reel is the size, of course, and you can tell how much line you're letting out as you're trolling. When you troll, you let the line out the side of the boat, and depending on what depth you want your bait at, you let out, a certain amount of line. So this is ideal for doing that, and really great little reel. Not little, it's pretty big. One of my personal favorites. Fly fishing reel. You'll see quite a bit about fly fishing, not as much as the other traditional ways of fishing, but I do love to fly fish. It's a great way to catch fish. All right, so let's take a little closer look at all these. All right, the spin cast reel. Like I mentioned before, the old Zebco 202, it's a wonderful reel, for a beginner. I would shy away from the really cheap reels, especially those little Spider-Man reels, things like that come on the pole. You're going to spend as much or more time trying to untangle it and get it to work as you will fishing. So I would start out with a Zebco 202 minimum. They're not very expensive, and they're a great little reel. To operate this reel, you do operate it, or use it, up like this in this position. So you'll notice you can't pull any line out. You push the button to let line out, and then when you get it, push it a little bit farther, and it locks it down again. And that's when you can cast it. So you make your cast. As you cast, you release it, and the line goes out. Then from there, simply turn the handle, and you hear that click, like that, and you reel it in. Okay. On these, to set the drag, you've got this rotating wheel, which allows you to set drag, and you can hear it. If you want it more drag, you simply move it towards the plus, and then it makes it to where you can't pull it out as easily. Okay, so with these, a common thing that I see a lot of people do, they have their drag too light, and as you're reeling in a fish, all you hear is this. The line's not moving, so you may have to adjust it while you're reeling in the fish, because they're going to fight you. Okay, and there we go. Zebco 202 spin cast reel. All right, now we have a spinning reel. Spinning reel is what I pretty much grew up on for many, many years after I evolved past the Zebco 202. Spinning reel is very versatile. You use a spinning reel with it hanging down at the bottom like this, and you turn the reel. You can change these from left hand, which this is, by removing this nut and taking the handle, putting it over here, and make it right-handed. So it is versatile in that aspect. These reels come in different sizes. This one is a Lews XS30 reel. I bought 4 of them. They're actually really nice. Now with a spinning reel, you can use a lot lighter line than you can with a bait caster. So to operate these reels, take your line and put it underneath the bail, like that. Okay? To set the drag on this particular reel, you have a knob at the top. You can loosen it and make the drag very light, or you can tighten it down and make it very heavy. Other reels of this type have a knob in the back which do the same thing. Personally, I like these a little better. If I'm fighting a fish, I have an easier time just reaching up here and adjusting my drag. So to cast these reels, you fold the bail, which is this here. This is the bail. Fold the bail up, and there's 2 ways you can do it. One, you can hold the line with your finger and then make your cast, and as you're casting, release the line with your finger and it will free spool off. Then once you're done, fold the bail back over, and then you're ready to reel it in. Now I will warn you, these types of reels, you can fold the bail over and you can click it back by just rotating the handle. Every time you do it that way, you put line twist. Line twist isn't good, and it's not the best on your equipment either. Now what I do, I fold the bail over, and as I'm folding it, I put my finger right there. You can see that, and that holds the line there. Now when I throw it, I have a real simple transition of just releasing my finger and letting the line out. That works really good for me. For younger people, people with smaller hands, you have a hard time doing it that way. So you can just hold it like I showed you before. Just hold it up here, throw it, and release it with your finger. You do have a button on the bottom here, which if you notice, I can only reel this one direction. I can't go back the other way. What this allows you to do is turn the reel back the other way, both ways. And I'm getting the line all twisted up because it's braids, so I won't continue to do that. That comes in handy if you're trolling, or if you get hung up or something like that, you can just reach over and release that. So there it is, the spinning reel. Now on to the low profile bait casting reel. Again, these reels are very efficient, very quick, fast. If you're bass fishing, they're wonderful. The reason I'm showing you 2 of them here, you have one left-handed, one right-handed. I like to use a left-handed reel. Most of the industry is right-handed. I grew up with a spinning reel with the handle on this side. So at 55 years old, I decided I didn't want to change. So I buy left-handed reels. This is a favorite fishing reel. It's the new Solus. I like it. A little bit high end, but I feel like I've deserved to move up. Anyway, these reels are pretty easy to operate, but they do have one drawback. They get what's called a backlash, and you have to basically sit there and get the backlash out before you can make another cast. So that's the one disadvantage to these reels. So to operate this reel, you always want to have your thumb near the spool, because if the spool runs away on you, you get what's called that backlash. So put your thumb here, push on the button, and then you're going to make your cast. As you do, leave your thumb on the spool lightly so that you're holding just a little bit of tension, and that comes with practice. Now, unlike the round bait cast reel, you'll notice this doesn't move. So for trolling, you really can't determine how much line you have out. That's why a trolling reel is a better option for that. And then when you're done with your cast, simply turn the lever and it clicks back up and you can reel back in. To set the tension for the drag, again, it's a star type reel, so you can tighten it or loosen it as you're fighting the fish. Very handy. This is a tension knob for setting the tension on how freely that the spool spins. So again, you have to adjust that for how large a bait you're throwing and what the conditions are, whether you're pitching, flipping, or straight casting. So you got to learn to use that knob. And this is your fine backlash control. And it's got magnets in the back of it. And so you can adjust that to also reduce your chances on backlash, or like when you're flipping and pitching, sometimes you want to back that all the way off, depending on the bait you're throwing. So there again, press the button, make your cast, and you're in business. You're reeling right there. Pretty simple operation once you learn how to cast them. Great little reels. All right, now on to the round bait casting reel, or I use it more for trolling. These reels are, again, you have to order either right or left-handed, and you can't change them. So when you buy one of these reels, make sure whether you want it left-handed or right-handed. To set the spool tension on this reel is a dial on the back, which you can loosen it up if you're going to try to cast it, for if you're out on the surf or somewhere like that, or you can tighten it up a little bit for trolling, which I like to do. The other button on this side is the clicker button. So right now I have it in silent mode, so I can pull line off and you don't hear it. Or if I click it down, now you can hear it. When you're trolling, that's nice because you can set your drag lightly and you can tell when a fish is taking your bait. Real handy. On this side, you have this lever here, which allows you to cast or drop your line in the water and it'll go down. Let's turn that clicker off. Now what I do is I count how many times this goes back and forth, and that tells me how much line I've let out and how deep my bait's running. You can see that moving. Now to set your drag tension, you have again a star knob. So when I'm reeling in, I can, if I need to, I can tighten the tension by moving it this direction or loosen it by moving it this direction. That's pretty loose right there. I can tighten it up. Make it very hard to pull out. Okay, there you go. Use this reel, drop that back, let your bait go in the water, get it out where you want it, flip it back up, it's locked in. Round bait casting reel. Now to the fly fishing reel. With fly fishing, you don't actually cast it off the reel. What you do is you spool off line, and then if you've ever watched a fly fishing video, you cast it with a loose line. When you get a fish on, because you're holding the line with your hand, you reel up until you get what's called having the fish on the reel. To set the drag, you simply turn this knob back or forward. And that's about it. You have different types of line that you use for fly fishing. You have floating lines, sinking lines. So when you buy a fly rod, normally you have interchangeable spools. So your different fly lines can go on the same handle. There you go. That's a fly reel. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe, and hey, get out on the water and have a great day.